Hello, I'm Katie Kretz. I'm the Executive Director of the Multicultural Community Resource Center. This message is a follow-up to the op-ed that was recently published, as well as the public comments that I shared at the most recent County Council meeting regarding the Erie County Prison contract with the federal government. I want to begin by saying something very personal. Standing in that room at the County Council meeting was not an easy one for me. The room was filled with passionate, vocal, and deeply concerned community members, many of whom were adamantly and vehemently advocating for the cancellation of this agreement. The emotion in that room was real, and I deeply respect it. In fact, as I listened to speaker after speaker and I heard the intensity of the room, there was a moment where I almost reconsidered whether I should even step up to the podium. But I didn't, because it's my job. It's my job to speak up, and I would be remiss if I didn't. It's my responsibility to present facts, even when they're difficult to hear. And I don't take that responsibility lightly. As someone who has dedicated my career to serving the most vulnerable populations, I carry this very personally. And that is exactly why I'm asking for the pause in this vote. Because in the midst of emotion, there still appears to be a significant misconception. There seems to be a belief that canceling this contract would result in federal law enforcement, specifically ICE, no longer operating in Erie County. And this just simply isn't accurate. Ending the contract does not remove federal authority. It does not prevent ICE from conducting enforcement actions here in Erie. It simply changes where individuals are detained, and where someone is detained matters. When individuals are held locally, immigration attorneys have access to them, and I say this not as speculation, but as fact. I've personally consulted with local immigration attorneys who've represented detainees in the Erie County Prison, and they have confirmed that they're able to access their clients, often within 24 hours of being retained. They've also confirmed that legal filings remain here in the Western District of Pennsylvania, and families can visit. Organizations like MCRC and other refugee agencies can access the facility to assist and advocate. One thing to consider is there's no public defender system in immigration court. There's no guaranteed right of counsel. So proximity can mean the difference between representation or isolation. If individuals are transferred hundreds or even thousands of miles away, access becomes significantly harder. Jurisdictions can shift, families lose connection, and cases become far more complicated. If we care about due process and dignity, location absolutely matters. We're also operating during heightened federal enforcement activity, including initiatives that have created uncertainty within refugees communities nationwide. And while a federal judge in Minnesota has issued a temporary restraining order related to certain enforcement actions, that order only applies within Minnesota and does not automatically extend to other states. Unfortunately, we've received reports from providers here in Pennsylvania, even as close as Pittsburgh, of refugees experiencing detention or increased scrutiny. It's important to understand that what we're seeing in other states is not necessarily the same as what's occurring here in Erie County. Detention practices, they vary by facility and jurisdiction. But as long as this contract remains in place locally, we have the ability to keep accountability here. We can maintain oversight. We can raise concerns directly with county leadership. We can advocate for policy improvements. And we can ensure that language access and procedural safeguards are maintained. If individuals are transferred out of state, that accountability disappears. We lose visibility, we lose proximity, and we lose the ability to influence conditions. Keeping accountability local does not mean endorsing detention. It means protecting transparency while broader federal policies continue to unfold. And because this conversation deserves facts and not assumptions, I will be submitting a right to know request with Erie County so that we can review complete data related to detainee numbers, length of stays, financial impact, and policy safeguards. If we're going to make a decision of this magnitude, it needs to be grounded in evidence. I also want to acknowledge something very, very important. We have experienced a change in county leadership, and with that change, there's already been significant cooperation. Our new county executive has already met with the prison warden. Conversations are underway, and we're discussing improvements to language access and safeguards to ensure individuals understand documentation and retain access to their legal paperwork. And local immigration attorneys have already acknowledged that since these recent meetings with county officials, they've seen significant improvements in communication and access inside the facility. That progress matters. MCRC is also collaborating with other refugee agencies, immigration attorneys, and city and county leaders to put safeguards in place to protect families who entered this country legally. Refugees were vetted overseas. They were admitted by the United States government, and they are here lawfully. This is not about politics. This is about ensuring that decisions made with good intentions don't unintentionally create greater barriers for family navigating an already complex system. Our position remains clear. We're asking for this vote to be paused, clarify the facts, and continue the cooperation already underway, and make a decision rooted in full understanding, because at the end of the day, this isn't about contracts of parties, it's about people and about leadership. We finally have cooperation and conversation is happening. So let's not rush the progress. Let's slow it down, let's work together, and make sure that we get this right. Thank you.